Hello and welcome to News Across Nigeria. I'm Olumide Makoli. On today's program, former Aviation Minister Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode gets bail in the sum of 50 million naira and one surety in like sum from Federal High Court, Abuja. Delta and Anambra State governments collaborate on security, trade and traffic management on the Niger Bridge. And the Universal Basic Education Commission trains teachers in Benue State, inspects construction work in schools. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin in the north-central part of the country. A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to former aviation minister Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode in the sum of 50 million naira and one surety in like sum. The court say that the surety must be resident in Abuja and own landed property in the capital city. The former minister is also to submit his passport and other travel documents to the court. The presiding judge, Justice John Soho, in his ruling, directed that Mr. Fani-Kayode be remanded in Kuje prison until he meets the conditions of his bail application. He's pleaded not guilty to the 5-count charge filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The charges border on money laundering. He was accused of receiving 26 million naira from former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki. The Senate has withdrawn a bill seeking to establish a grazing management agency which will ensure the creation of grazing areas across the country. The bill, which was sponsored by Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, was withdrawn, along with two other similar bills sponsored by Senators Barnabas Gemade and Chukwuka Utazi. While Senator Gemade's bill seeks to establish a National Ranches Commission for regulation, preservation and control of ranches, Senator Utazi's bill is seeking to control keeping and movement of cattle in Nigeria. However, the bills were withdrawn as lawmakers noted that they all had different objectives and could not be merged.
Now, if you go to second schedule of the Constitution, now you see the legislative list, and we cannot go beyond the Schedule 2 to make laws for the Federation, because the issues at stake here are neither in the exclusive list or in the concurrent list. So I believe, therefore, it is a residual matter for states to decide how to deal with. I believe the matter here is of concern to everybody, given the level of carnage and the conflict going on in different states. So I feel the concern of my colleagues, but unfortunately we do not have powers to legislate on a matter related to livestock in this assembly. It's a matter reserved for the states. So I believe that both the bill from Kwankwaso, Gamade and Utazi is beyond the reach of this National Assembly and should be accordingly withdrawn, so that the states under the Constitution should be able to deal with the matters which the Constitution has prescribed for them. I would like to see somebody to show me anywhere in the exclusive list or concurrent list that has given us powers to legislate on these matters, because they are not existent.
Also at the Senate, but this time to the housing sector, the chairman Senate Committee on Housing and Urban Development, Senator Barnabas Gemade, has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria to pay its equity contribution of 1.5 billion naira to the management of the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja during the committee's oversight visit to the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, he announced plans by the committee to make budgetary provision in the 2017 budget to enable the federal government address issues of housing deficit in the country.
We have seen the Central Bank of Nigeria make donations of billions of naira in this country, and for them to leave a responsibility like equity in a bank that is the foremost secondary mortgage institution in Nigeria, contributing to the welfare of the ordinary people by providing mortgage finance in this country, and leave it unattended over all these years leaves a lot to be desired. And I think CBN should be ashamed of this particular situation and should do something about it as quickly as possible.
Over the next 2 dry season cycles, our plan is to, in phase 1, ensure the completion of 24 estates. This will also lead to the injection of about 5,000 housing units in the nation's housing stock, and another 38 estates that will result in the injection of about 10,000 houses in the nation's housing stock. And then the last phase will be the completion of 14 housing estates that will also bring in about 2,200 housing in the nation's housing stock.
We'll stay with the National Assembly for the moment. Members of the Southeast Caucus in the Senate, led by the Deputy Senate President, Mr. Ike Kwedomadu, and the caucus chairman, Eyinaya Baribe, have met with President Muhammadu Buhari on the challenges facing their region. After the meeting, the senators listed issues discussed to include the subject of indigenous people of Biafra, lopsided appointments, and the general infrastructure in the zone.
We had a very fruitful discussion with Mr. President. He has promised us that he's going to look into the problems of the Southeast as part of looking into the problems nationally. We all know that there are problems everywhere, but we feel that the Southeast is the particular zone that is far more shortchanged at this moment than other zones. And we also looked especially on the area of appointments in the Southeast, especially with respect to the National Security Council. And he also, that's Mr. President, also let us know that the governors of the Southeast have also engaged him on the same problems that we came to engage him with. And so there's a concerted effort by people from the Southeast to be sure that we engage with this government meaningfully. And we are very reassured with the response we got from the President, and we look forward to further interactions with him in this manner.
Now to safety on our roads in the southwest, in the nation's commercial capital, construction and repair work on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway have continued to increase travel time of travelers on the highway. The contractor handling the road project has been working on a 5-kilometer stretch, limiting access through the long bridge area in the Isheri portion. In the meantime, the road safety officials are advising motorists to exercise caution and respect other road users when they journey in and out of Lagos. The Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is being reconstructed by 2 contractors, with each handling the Lagos-Shagamu and Shagamu-Ibadan stretch.